Hello and welcome to another Doctor's Assistant 1 video, and today I'm taking a look at the brand new release that is the 10th Doctor Technophobia. Now originally, I'll be honest, I wasn't going to purchase this one, and first of all I'll go through the packaging. Here we have Donna, David Tennant and the cognoscenti alien there. You've got like these phones and laptops and stuff being thrown at the like cover thing. Brand new adventures, full cast audio drama featuring featuring and then some of the cast there. BBC, Big Finish even. David Tennant or Doctor Who logo there, and then the with David Tennant and Catherine Tate in Technophobia by Matt Fitton, and then on the spine it has the audio adventures of Doctor Who. There we just have the disc and the reversible cover, which I'm not a big fan of, not because of the logo, but because of the banner or the banner there is taken by any chance. I don't get why the vortex is like that though. Also, like, it's not like David's actual vortex. Like David looks pretty cool there though. Don't get me wrong, but again, yeah, he's taken away there. Whoa, he's just taken away in that one, and then you've got the disc. And then the blurb and the legal guff and all that jazz on the back. This retails for just $10.99 on its own, and there are 3 stories, or you can get the limited edition box set for £45, which is a good offer if you definitely want to get all of them and stuff. What did I think of Technophobia? I think it works. It's very much like Bells of St. John, but if Bells of St. John meets sort of Partners in Crime, as I don't know why, but when I went into this story, I didn't think it'd have as much humour as it did, which it does have quite a bit of humour, which obviously makes logical sense, seeing as it does have Donna and that, but the humour doesn't feel forced or, you know, like you have to laugh at it, you know, it doesn't feel shoehorned in there because of blank spaces, and that. I really do like the cognoscenti, like, they are really cool, like, and also think this story is pretty easy to follow, and also so well written that I can picture it in my head really easily, and also to the point where I think this story could easily have been a story in Series 4, so, you know, big thumbs up to Matt Fitton for doing that, because, yeah, it just works so well, you know. I think it is rather a simplistic story, but where Bells of St. John is simplistic and in a bad way, and it just looks, it's alright. Here, it's simplistic, but the way the Doctor talks about stuff and things along that line, it sort of feels like there's more depth to it. And that it's simplistic enough that you feel comfortable getting into the idea of it, and then it does throw a few bits and pieces here and there, so it doesn't just feel like completely like nothing. It does also feel more like a classic Doctor Who episode, in the sense that I found that it's more slow paced, more methodical pacing, less action, if that makes sense, and it didn't feel as fast-paced as I thought it was going to be, or as action-packed as I thought it was going to be as well. You know, don't get me wrong, there are a bit of action-y type sequences here and there, and the dialogue, there is quite a bit of dialogue actually, and a few characters, not a lot, but there are a few characters. The cognoscenti sound amazing, and so did David Tennant and Catherine Tate as the Doctor and Donna, and it's just a no-brainer to have brought them back, as they are one of the best Doctor and companion sort of duos since the revived series, really, up there for me, or with a lot of fans, with not for me, but for a lot of fans up there with the likes of Tom Baker and Elizabeth Sladen as the 4th Doctor and Sarah Jane. They work to that degree, really, you know. And again, I think the dialogue they have together just bounces off each other, each of them, so well, you know. It just feels so natural and it flows so well, you know. Nothing feels forced or shoehorned in, or like it was really difficult for one of them to say that particular line or thing to the other, and that. And yeah, the cognoscenti are really cool. I really like the design, both on the cover and their voice design. They sound opposing and threatening. I think my major 2 gripes with this story is the beginning feels a bit just like it just starts all of a sudden, and there's no real build-up or sort of explanation to where we are or what the adventure might be, you know. It just starts all of a sudden. It also just finishes all of a sudden. You know, it just sort of feels like a bit of a, okay, we've done, that's it, you know, sort of thing. It doesn't feel like it's gone from a natural progression of a beginning to a middle to an end or something or whatnot. You know, it just feels just like, okay, here's the beginning, here's the the middle, and then boom, there's the end, you know, just all of a sudden, you know, and you don't really expect it and stuff, and it's a bit jarring and a bit all over the place, really, which is a bit weird. But yeah, I think the ending and the beginning could have been better, but I think the middle is where it's at its best. You know, the Doctor, the way he talks, his lexicon is very well. You know, like Matt Fitton, even though he's not written for Series 4 or David Tennant or Catherine Tate before, he comes across like he just knew how to write for them, you know, very well, and that, which I'm surprised at. But, yeah, I mean, David Tennant's Doctor does seem to be very much like he was in the TV show for the most part. There is one bit where he says, like, no more, that's it, I'm going to find out where, you know, what's happening here. And it just felt like he was being so aggressive and rather aggressive and angry, to the point where personally I felt like that was out of character for his incarnation personally, you know. Like, he would say stuff like that in Series 4 and in Doctor Who, but not to the same degree. Maybe he only did that because he was on audio and he didn't, you know, have his body to sort of send that message across that he was angry and that, you know, with his body language. So maybe he emphasised it a lot more in the voice. But I did notice that. And I love how Donna seems to actually do quite a lot for herself in this story, and the Doctor respects that of her, and she seems to actually do stuff. Not that she didn't do stuff in the show, but she seems to be, as I say, rather independent and strong and feisty as always, and that just works, and that just makes me happy, you know, because that's why a lot of people, myself included, do like her character, because she is a strong, feisty, independent character. As I say, there are a few other characters, but they are developed and they are interesting, but, you know, I've forgotten their names, to be honest, but they are interesting and varied. You know, there are Bex with an X, and then there's this other guy, or there's this guy, and then there's another person. I think there's either 3 or 4 other characters, and that, I think, there's also the person who made, like, the Siri system. It's like Siri, and that, I can't even remember what the name of that is, but that kind of goes haywire, and that's what the cognoscenti use to sort of take over stuff, the technology and that. And I do like their more slower, methodical way of converting humans, or converting them to be stupid again, and that, like they were when we were first on the planet and stuff, and that, and making us de-evolve and stuff. It's a really cool concept, and it just works. It actually translates itself very well on audio, and just generally well to a story. Like, it's well, it's a good idea, and it's well executed, is what I'm getting at. You know, and as someone else said, another reviewer said, instead of the Bells of St. John, that's where, you know, that's technology going haywire. It's us going haywire because of the technology and the way that the technology is doing stuff and things along that line. So what would I give Technophobia out of 10? I would give it a well-earned 8.5. I think it is a good story, but there's something in the back of my head saying, no, don't give it a 9, because, as I say, the Doctor does kind of go out of character a little bit for me. The beginning and the end just felt a bit, you know, again, just like end, beginning, you know, just all of a sudden, and that there was no like build up to how it ended, and there was no real decline, or not, yeah, like there was no build up to the ending, and there was no real background build up to the beginning. It just sort of started all of a sudden, you know. And that, what I mean is, like, I didn't feel like, you know, we were like, immediately we didn't really start with David and David's Doctor and Catherine Tate's Donna, which is a bit weird, because that's how I would have personally written it, especially with the fact that this will be probably more than likely the starting off point for a lot of people into Big Finish. I would have written it that way to make it as accessible and as easy and as smooth as transition from TV to audio as possible. Personally, it's not the worst beginning of a story or end, but it is some stuff that just drags it down from a 9 to an 8.5. So yeah, thanks for watching, comment, rate and subscribe.